Hello everyone, my name is Anya Hawkins, welcome to my channel. I'm an aspiring knitwear designer and I'm a yarn first person. I have to have yarn in my possession before I will come up with the idea for a project. But I cannot buy enormous quantities of yarn just to have creative freedom. Or can I? I can, if it's thrifted. Very cheaply thrifted. This time I will show you the whole process, how I am getting the yarn, how I am preparing it to knit with, and how all of it leads to ideas and designs. To make long intro short, this is a thrift haul video. I am going to town to go thrift shopping. It is so cold. I think it's minus 27 Celsius, and I thought at first, well, people always film vlogs when they are going somewhere, but it's just too cold. My phone will not handle it. It is a beautiful winter morning. The sun is rising behind me, and it would be better if I just show you what I got when I returned. Hello again, I'm back from my trip. I've been back actually for quite some time, but I could not show you my newest acquisitions because I needed to wash them first. If you ever been to a big second hand, you know this smell that things have there. I think it's formaldehyde. They use it to disinfect stuff, and I'm glad they do, because it's supposed to kill like everything, germs, spores, insects, but the smell is yuck. So I washed everything with good laundry detergent. I washed it again with vinegar, and then I air dried them for like a week in the attic, whereas temperature is below zero. So the things that I got now smell really nice, very clean and fresh, and I can try them on and show you what I got and tell you what I plan to do with it. So first thing is white sweater. It is potential white yarn because in a stash you can never have enough whites. I must say that I don't unravel everything. I think I have in my wardrobe like 3 sweaters that I didn't unravel because I like the color, the fit, the size, the feel, everything about them. But this one is not one of them because there is something weird happening with the shape of it. This is a sleeve. This is how it looks. At first I thought maybe something happened with it. Maybe someone washed it incorrectly and it deformed, but no! There is increases and decreases. And the same thing happening on the body. Here, here, and here. Did I put it backward? No. The label is right here. Kinda looks like Dr. Zoidberg without his shell. This one is definitely going to be yarn. The next one is a find. Not because of its shape, but because of a color. Because I have a very clear vision what I want to get, a very clear idea. I want to have a big, oversized intarsia sweater that is inspired by Chinese barren strawberry flowers. I will put up a picture. And for this I needed color just like that. Let me try it on. Well, it is too big for me. There is no point leaving it as it is. It is totally going to be yarn, especially since I have a knit just for this color. So I will use this yarn to execute my idea, and it's going to be a pattern. I will make intarsia flowers, big ones. I just don't know about background color. I want the sweater to be oversized, drop shoulder, with shoulder seams that go right here, because I want first intarsia flower to be right here on a shoulder. And then here, here, and here. I think 4 big flowers on a diagonal line will look stunning. Next on the list, this. It is again too big for me, which is good because the bigger the thing, the more yarn I will have. I love this color. It's very basic, kind of brown, and I like the cables, I like the ribbon, but I don't like the shape at all. Right here I can already feel it is very, very warm, but if I need something that warm, I would prefer to have long sleeves. So this one is also definitely going to become a yarn in my stash, and I don't have any specific ideas for this one. Okay, it's a cardigan. This is also totally not my thing. I don't like sleeves like that, and they are very narrow and hugging right here, but this, I don't like it. It's kind of too big for me, and at the same time there's like, it's pulling apart right here. But it's very nice and very soft yarn and quite bulky. I don't have enough of such yarn, and it is very basic color, light gray, but not monotone. It's more like it's white background and black fluff. So this is going into my stash of yarn. Let's see what else I got. Where is what this thing? Judging by the label, this is back of my neck. Gorgeous color and very soft. I don't know how to style it to make it into a garment. Maybe if I remove the belt. So anyways, it is a lot of dark green forest yarn and I love it. It is very soft and oh, maybe it's a hood? Well, the shape is definitely interesting, but I'm not keeping it. It is going to be yarn in my stash. That is an option. It is definitely an option. I should take a lot of green and a little of yellow. It pops, isn't it? So green sweater with yellow flowers. When I will turn both of those sweaters into yarn, I will definitely swatch it. But I think this combination has a big potential. And I have one more thing to show. It is this knitted cardigan dress with just one button. Also has a belt. So this is how it looks. This one is actually not bad. Very lightweight and soft and drapey. And the color, again, very basic color. I love those. Quite long. But I don't need a cardigan dress. Because despite interesting cables here and textures, this is not my look. Not my look at all. But since it's so long, it means that it is a lot of yarn. Could it work as a background for my yellow? I think it could work potentially. I had another idea for this yarn. I wanted to make very basic stockinette raglan sweater, and I would use it as a blank canvas, meaning that I have an idea for a colorwork raglan sweater, but I wanted to experiment with shaping first on something that is not in colorwork, and that way I would get two things from such a project. First, I will get a nice raglan sweater, and this color would be perfect for it, because I wanted it to be very universal, so it would go with everything that I have. And another thing that I would get from it, I would polish my calculations for raglan shaping. Conflicting ideas. If I would use this yarn to make basic raglan sweater, I would not be able to use it for my intarsia sweater. And these two colors, I like them together. And I think that I like this basic light version more then I like this very contrasting bright version. I would prefer to have both. So I guess my raglan idea will have to wait, and I would swatch with both those combinations and work on my intarsia design. I wasn't expecting that. Those three yarns wanna stay together. I will not fight them on that. But I will make my final decision when I will unravel all three of them and prepare the yarn for knitting, which I will show you how I do that, and then I will swatch and we will see. When shopping for things to unravel, the seams are the most important thing. They should be made on a lock stitch machine and not serged. Such seams are very easy to take apart. I don't have a nitty noddy to make standard skeins. I use book and quite small at that. Works just fine, especially since I also don't have a swift for unwinding skeins. My little book skeins, or yarn donuts as I call them, are easy to make, easy to steam, easy to dry, and easy to turn into balls of yarn. why did I bother setting up my hair last night if I ended up spending all day outside wearing a hat and sweating in it like a pig? But it was minus 11 degrees outside compared to minus 25 all month before that. I just couldn't resist such an opportunity. And look at me talking about weather and my hair instead of what I was going to talk about. And what I was going to talk about is yarn content. I realized that I hadn't touched upon it at all when I probably should have, because yarn content is kind of important and at the same time it's a difficult topic. There's ethical aspects to it, practical aspects, and personal preferences, and some people are really hung up upon yarn content. And they have good reasons for it. But I think that everyone should think about yarn content for themselves, because everyone's situation is different, and it is very different what people can afford, what people can tolerate, what they like, what they want, and what they need. But when it comes to thrifting for yarn, as I do, you cannot search out only the types of fiber that you want, because it's just not predictable. You're not ordering what you personally would like to have. You're looking through the things that were basically discarded for one reason or another. I'm, for example, not shying away from synthetic fibers, but I'm also not buying indiscriminately. I have a system. When in the store, first I touch everything. And I mean everything. I'm very sensitive to the touch and I'm quite hard to please. Low quality synthetic yarns that are kinda squeaky to the touch, they're not pleasant, they kinda nasty feeling. And I cannot even touch them for more like a second. I'm like, nope, get it away from me. I don't look at the color, I don't look at the shape, I don't look at anything. I just touch, and when I stumble upon something that is pleasant to the touch, I'm like, hello, and it goes into my cart. And the majority of things in a store are not pleasant to the touch for me. And sometimes nothing goes into my cart. Sadly, there are days like that. But sometimes there is a pile as tall as me. And when I go through everything there is in a store, I go with my cart to some quiet corner and I'm starting going through the things that I took. That's when I start looking at the color. Everything that I find interesting color-wise stays in my cart. Everything that I find boring goes back to the racks. Then another round of elimination starts. I look at the seams. Everything searched goes back to the rack, because obviously I need things that are possible to disassemble and unravel and to get continuous whole yarn from it. In the end, I left with a handful of garments, if any. This time I got this. And I have to admit that I made a mistake with this one. I looked at the side seams and at the sleeve seams, but I forgot to look to the seam for a button band, and it was serged in place. So I lost both fronts and button band, and I end up only with a half of yarn that I could. It was sloppy of me, and I should pay better attention. I didn't throw away those like these long pieces of yarn. I wound them up in a ball. I just didn't bother to steam them. Maybe someday I will use them for some scrappy project, who knows. It was a disappointment because I like this yarn very much. And to satisfy your curiosity, I should tell you what I got this time. This green yarn is wool acrylic blend. This yarn, that is less than I expected, is superwash merino polyamide blend. Oh, and this one wasn't in my acquisitions. I didn't show you the thing that I unraveled because I had it in my possession for some years. I just wore it very rarely. I will put up a picture, I think I have one. It was a cardigan that I got from second hand. It is 100% cashmere, and I even know what I'm going to knit with it. I have in my life someone who sleeps in socks, which is a nightmare to me, but it is a good opportunity for me to make a present, and I'm going to knit them cashmere sleeping socks, kind of luxurious item, but shh, it is a surprise. This one wool acrylic blend again, and this one merino alpaca blend. This lemony colored yarn is pure acrylic. I'm lucky that it is not unpleasant to the touch, and actually if I wouldn't have seen the label, I would never tell that it's not wool. it's a good quality acrylic. And acrylic can be very different. Not everything is the same. There are ways of producing synthetic yarns that can imitate a lot of different fibers. You can get artificial wool or cotton or linen or mohair, and you not always can tell without looking at the label. So this one is of satisfying quality. I got it mainly for the color, and it's not going to be the whole garment anyway, because I'm planning to use it only for intarsia, only for like decoration. And this white one is mohair acrylic blend. And now I'm going to take them down because they were dry like 2 days ago. This whole brick wall behind me, from ceiling to the floor, it's a backside of the stove. You've seen it. So it radiates heat and everything dries out really quickly in front of it. I'm going to wind my yarns into center pull balls, and I'm going to find out how much meters or yards I have of everything. I didn't turn on my fancy lights. Pretend they were turned on this whole time. I have this giant rabbit gift bag that I use for keeping my yarn donuts. Can you guess how much yarn I have here? I will tell you my total once I rewind everything. I don't have a Thrift. I use little pillow. That is the perfect size for my yarn donuts. I hang it with a swivel clasp. Feed yarn through the ear that I stick somewhere with double-sided tape. Then I feed yarn through the counter. And then I wind up my center pull ball by hand. This thing is mechanical fish line counter that you're supposed to attach to a fishing rod. I feed through the counter only one ball of each yarn. Then I weight it on kitchen scales. And then I can calculate how many meters is in 100 grams. On any given day, I work with only one of my yarns. That way, I will not get sick of that satisfying but quite long process. And my system is quite mobile. I can direct my yarn to anywhere in the room, wherever I happen to be sitting at the moment. this is the result of my labor. Counting only things that I got on my last trip, I ended up with 2 kilos and 245 grams of yarn. If you count the cardigan that was in my wardrobe together with this haul, then here is 2.5 kilograms of yarn. Pretty impressive. And every garment in this haul cost me, let's use US dollar equivalent, each thing costed $1. I call it pretty good deal. I already stapled samples of everything in my stash catalog, and I made notes about yarn content, about exact weight I got, and about how many meters per 100 grams for each yarn. And each yarn goes into a cloth bag. I make this from various scraps and leftovers. And each bag I tie with that yarn, so it's obvious what's inside. In storage goes everything except those 2 bags. They have this yarn inside, and I'm going to be working with it. And though it is a story for another video, I can show you a sneak peek because I already started a swatch from it. This is my future Chinese barn strawberry flower. I think this looks very good. Well, that was everything that I wanted to show you this time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!